The Florida Skunk Ape. The skunk ape is a humanoid cryptoid said to inhabit Florida. Reports of the skunk ape were particularly common in the 1960s and 1970s. In 1974, sightings of large, foul-smelling, hairy ape-like creatures, which ran upright on two legs, were reported in suburban neighborhoods of Dade County, Florida. State legislators in April of 1977 even introduced a bill to protect the elusive man-ape, which in part stated, any person taking possession, harming, or molesting any anthropod or humanoid animal which is native to Florida, popularly known as the skunk ape, or doing any act responsibly capable of harming or molesting such animals. State Representative Paul Nichols wanted to make it a misdemeanor to capture or harass a skunk ape. I'd hate to see someone catch one and put it in a circus or zoo, he remarked. The bill never passed into law, but hasn't stopped discussion about trying it again. In 1959, 3 Boy Scouts emerged in a panic from a national forest with a wild tale of having been rooted from their camp by a big hairy monster. They said the thing had a human face, but the body of an ape. Now this might be easy to dismiss as a boyish yarn, if not for hundreds of similar stories. Take the case of a long-distance truck driver that pulled into a rest stop along I-75 one night to catch a few winks. The trucker recounted how he was pulled from the cab of his truck by a hairy Bigfoot-type creature. It came right out of the dark and tried to get into the truck. The thing carried him under one arm for several yards. My face was pressed into its hair, the man had told a reporter. It smelled awful. The trucker was able to kick himself free and made it back to his truck. The ape creature began pounding on the truck, but after the driver gave a few blasts of his air horn, the thing ran off into the woods. The Fairchild Oak. Also known as the Haunted Oak by locals, is one of the longest living oak trees in Florida. For over 400 years, it has been standing and witnessing humans go about their business. There are 2 main stories about this tree. The first is of Norman Harwood, who bought the property around the turn of the century and later killed himself under the tree. The second story involves the death of James Ormond II. He purchased the land sometime after Harwood's death and started a plantain named Demita. According to legends, Ormond was found dead under the tree. It was said that he had committed suicide just like the previous owner of the property. How Ormond died is still a mystery, but historians agree it was a gruesome death. His son wrote, "I witnessed my father's death, and God forbid that any of my children should ever witness such a scene. Amen." He laid to rest by his 13-year-old son in a tomb far away from that big oak tree. And according to the locals, there is a ghostly presence of a man that is seen walking the grounds near the tree. Now, no one can say if it was Harwood or Ormond, but everyone who has seen it all claim to have felt an intense feeling of sadness. Pensacola Lighthouse. located on a beautifully tropical bay, the haunted Pensacola Lighthouse stands 159 feet over the coast. Originally built in 1826 and then rebuilt to increase its visibility in 1859, it houses more than just the occasional tour group. The lighthouse is home to several spirits who have a knack for making their presence known. A sinister murderer haunts the living quarters and the tower of the old lighthouse, striking fear into the hearts of locals and building a national reputation for the paranormal. The believed ghost at the Pensacola Lighthouse is of Michaelia Penalber. Michaelia married Jeremiah, and the two moved into the lighthouse to become the keeper shortly after its construction in 1826. For a while, the two lived happily on the bay, performing their daily duties of the lighthouse. Then, for unknown reasons, Michaelia and Jeremiah started having marital problems. Some say Michaelia had suffered years of spousal abuse, while others say she was just crazy jealous of her lighthouse. But whatever the reason, one foggy morning in 1840, Michaelia picked up a knife and sliced her husband to death. Lack of evidence led to no conviction, so Michaelia spent the rest of her days tending to her beloved lighthouse alone. Michaelia died in the lighthouse in 1855. But most people agree that she never truly left. Objects are flung at visitors touring the historic keeper's quarters, suggesting her ghost is hostile and wants to be alone. The bloodstains left by the vicious murder remained on the floor until it was refurbished. One local who had lived in the lighthouse as a child reported trying to clean up the bloodstain. He claimed that it would wash away, but would resurface, stronger than before. People can sometimes hear a woman's voice calling their name specifically, as if to warn them, "I'm watching you." People have reported that they can feel a presence follow them up the stairs of the tower, where they can hear her breathing behind them. The Devil's Chair. According to the stories, if you sit in this big brick chair at midnight, the devil will communicate with you. They also say that if you bring an unopened can of beer and place it on the chair, it will be empty the next morning. Another odd thing to point out about this is the tombstones are facing towards the chair, which is strange considering the other tombs and tombstones all face away. Many people go out at night to sit in this chair and claim to have heard the devil, although others claim that nothing goes on. There's no way to be sure unless you try it yourself. Spook Hill. Spook Hill is located on the Lake Wales Ridge, a geologically significant range of sand and limestone hills, which were islands from 2 to 3 million years ago, when the sea levels were much higher than they are at present. Many years ago, an Indian village on Lake Wales was plagued by rapids of a huge gator. The chief, a great warrior, killed the gator in battle and created a small lake. The chief was buried on the north side. Pioneer male riders first discovered their horses laboring downhill, thus naming it Spook Hill. When the road was paved, cars coasted uphill. Is it the gator seeking revenge or the chief still trying to protect his land? It's not just the hill that seems to have these odd occurrences. There is a local attraction, a small home, if you will, that, even if you are standing straight, will appear that you are slanted or about to fall over. Of course, all of this could be explained by science. It's still an interesting story to tell your friends. Ghouls, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's short and the ones that I found are kind of lame. I guess I just suck at research. But if you have any suggestions or things to add to these urban legends from your state, just let me know. Shoot me an email or just leave a comment and I'll research that certain urban legend and I'll put it to the state. Let's see. Question of the day. How do you ghouls feel about like fidget spinners and like fidget cubes? I have one of each and I like the cube better. And the main reason I have it is for my derma, so instead of picking my face and scalp and legs and arms, I will play with this thing. And so far, I like it. So let me know your opinion in the comments. But as always, ghouls, the last video is on the top left, the next video is on the bottom left. All my social medias are on the screen, as well as in the description box below. And remember, there's always someone or something watching you.